You said you just wanted peace. You said you don't like conflict. You said you'd rather stay out of it. And that sounds reasonable. It sounds calm. It sounds mature. But let's be honest. That's not what it is. That's comfort. And comfort has a cost. Because while you're protecting your peace, something else is being allowed. Something continues. Something goes unchallenged. Something stays exactly the way it is. And you call that neutrality. But it's not neutral. It never was. Neutral doesn't stop anything. Neutral doesn't interrupt harm. Neutral doesn't shift outcomes. It just stays out of the way. And staying out of the way is still a position. You may not feel responsible, but responsibility doesn't disappear just because you step back. It just becomes quieter, harder to admit, easier to justify. I don't want to get involved. I don't know enough. It's not my place. You said those before, and maybe you believe them, but now you know better. So now those words sound different. Now they sound like distance. Now they sound like avoidance. Now they sound like a decision to remain comfortable, because getting involved would require something. It would require you to speak, to question, to challenge something that might not welcome it. And that's where the hesitation lives, not in confusion, in discomfort. Because discomfort means risk of tension, risk of disagreement, risk of being seen differently, and comfort protects you from that. It keeps things smooth. It keeps things quiet. It keeps you unbothered. But while you're unbothered, someone else is dealing with the impact. While you stay comfortable, something else stays unchanged. And that's the part people don't connect. Comfort isn't harmless. It's not passive. It participates quietly, consistently, without ever announcing itself, because it doesn't have to. It blends in. It looks like normal behavior. It sounds like reasonable distance. It feels like self-preservation. But underneath it, it's allowing things to continue without interruption, without resistance, without consequence. And when there's no resistance, patterns settle in. They become routine. They become accepted. They become normal. And normal is one of the hardest things to challenge, because by the time something becomes normal, it no longer feels urgent. It feels familiar, expected, unquestioned, and comfort thrives in that space. Because comfort doesn't like disruption. It doesn't like tension. It doesn't like being challenged. So it convinces you to stay where you are, to keep things steady, to avoid making it bigger than it needs to be. But what if it's already big? What if it's been big this whole time? And comfort just made it easier not to see it that way. That's the shift. Because now you're not unaware. You're choosing where you stand. And standing back is still standing somewhere. It just feels safer, less visible, less accountable, but still present. Still part of the outcome, still connected to what continues. So when you say you just want peace, ask yourself honestly, peace for who? Because if your comfort requires silence, requires distance, requires doing nothing when something isn't right, that's not peace. That's protection. Not of what's right, but of what's easy. And easy has never changed anything. So now you're here, aware, understanding, feeling it when something doesn't sit right, and still deciding whether to stay comfortable or to disrupt it. Because disruption is uncomfortable, but it's also necessary. And comfort will always tell you to wait, to stay out of it, to let someone else handle it. But someone else is thinking the same thing. And that's how nothing changes. That's how things continue. That's how harm finds space to exist without challenge. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, through comfort, through distance, through people who know but choose not to act. So I'll ask you, without softening it, without giving you room to reshape it, is your comfort more important than what you know is wrong? Because if it is, then comfort isn't just comfort, it's complicity. And complicity doesn't need noise to exist, just silence, just distance, just enough people choosing not to disrupt it. This is witness state. Comfort is complicity.